that purple, that pinkish purple on you.
Thank you.
That's pretty. Like I'm gonna do it one day. I've never done drag, but I still want somebody to paint my face.
I think you would be gorgeous.
Thank you, love.
Come on, Joanna, man.
You know, leave me alone.
Oh, Jarrell,
Leave me
that's
alone.
nice.
Right,
you
thank
tall?
you.
Yeah.
Like 6 what?
6'2".
Okay.
Yeah, Joanna. She said,
"Yeah, Joanna, man."
She said, my mama always said, if you can't say nothing nice, just don't say nothing at all. And she was just,
no, that's right. Okay.
just
That's a pageant answer right there.
It sure was.
Okay.
Well, hello there, community. It's Alvion Arnell Davenport from Richmond, Virginia, a former Miss Continental Plus. And what's brewing today, y'all? Let's sip on it.
the Alvion Arnell Davenport.
Not on Blue Ivy's internet.
I know that's right. And Met Gala dandy. So get your cups ready for Minority Report. Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntie Carell.
It's Auntie Dionne.
And it's Auntie Jarrell. Hi, everybody.
That was a little bit of a different kind of energy.
I know. I felt
Sounded
very
like-
nice. I felt very nice.
Tony the Tiger or something like that.
It wasn't giving that Henny energy that Henny, energy that I always give. So
You're right. That was more like a wine cooler.
Look, let me tell you.
Zima. She out there in Seattle with all the white people.
Oh, Lord.
Too many of these motherfuckers, too.
Well, community, if you're watching on YouTube, you already see that we have a special guest. But if you listen to the audio, it's another special week with another special guest this week. So, let me set it up like we always do. We have the cornerstone of Richmond's queer nightlife for over 20 years. Get that all the way together. The Richmond VA LGBTQ mayor, by the way, and the Miss Continental Plus 2024 in the place to be. We have the Alvion Arnell Davenport in the place to be, baby.
Hey!
Hello, everybody. Hi.
It's so glad to finally meet you and to see you. We've been texting for months.
Yes.
For months.
Trying to make it
And I
happen.
love how it can look. And right on time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I postponed my trip to DR one day so that I could do this.
See,
Why you had to do all that?
It's
Love.
okay.
That's
It's
the
okay.
Love.
Because if it was me,
Because the other two would be gone. Actually,
Oh,
the
no.
other two are in the DR recording live.
I'll be like,
from
I'll
the
see
DR,
you when we
okay?
get back.
Look,
I thought about that and I was like, their internet may suck and I don't want to be that person.
Oh no!
we've had them.
Hey, man.
We've had them crunchy internet sessions before.
yeah, we have.
That. Ooh.
So thank you
We
for that
definitely
gift.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Aw.
Yes.
How long
Wait,
you gonna be in the DR?
I was about to ask the same thing.
So I will be there until Saturday. And then
And is
I'm going to New Orleans for my friend's partner's birthday.
Okay.
And is this a work trip or is this a pleasure?
No. So one of my friends actually planned the trip as a congratulations gift after my step down as Miss Continental Plus. So
Now that's what friends do. That community, y'all hear that?
Step your games up.
So I'm excited about it.
That's amazing. Well,
And
congratulations.
well
You deserve it.
You looked so good last week too, doing your step down.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you. I worked really hard to make it happen.
And I'm loving this mug. We loving this bug tonight too. I was like, "There's this purplish pink on your skin tone.
Thank you.
Killing it. I'm here.
So good.
But
All right, enough for
no,
that.
I'm about to. I know. I'm over here thinking about Dominican Republic now.
You blushing.
The men's is in Dominican Republic are nice too. They are pretty people.
They are beautiful.
Well,
We were Dionne was just talking about demons offline, so I don't
Babe.
Well, you know, listen, I live in West Harlem, so I'm just north of Columbia University and the Upper West Side, and my neighborhood is predominantly Dominican. So I walk out these doors and
You're like, I just feel.
es muy caliente.
But we kind of hinted at it. You're from Richmond, Virginia. I've never been to Richmond. I've driven through Richmond before, but did you born and raised in Richmond, or is that where you've kind of just settled down?
Born and raised.
Oh, okay.
Product of the school system, the whole 9 yards.
Period.
I know that's
Period.
right.
I know that's right. So you've seen, just like from a drag perspective, probably like the shifts and ebbs and flows in the area. And I know you're the main entertainer and the entertainer coordinator at Godfrey's, but I'm curious, like back when that started, we've seen the ebbs and flows of just like even like say drag brunch culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like Godfrey's is like one that really almost started the drag brunch. I don't know too many places that had it that long. What's the difference between the beginning and then 2025 drag brunch?
Oh, so I think that honestly, Godfrey's drag brunch and drag brunches in many other cities are kind of different because 95% of our brunch clientele is straight. Yeah, it's mostly like bachelorettes and birthday parties and retirements, and we've even had like people who like drag shows was on their bucket list before they transitioned. So it's like more of like a destination kind of thing.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, we've been doing it now for 27 years. So it's like a Richmond staple. It's like a, you go to Richmond, what do? You go to drag brunch. Like that's kind of like, the way that we are here at Godfrey's.
I love that.
And how would you describe the drag scene? Like how has it evolved since, from the early days of drag, it was really about female illusionists, but we've seen the art of drag become so diversified. And I'm just curious, how would you describe the drag scene in your neck of the woods?
So I have been called a gatekeeper because I love some good old fashioned drag. I love the
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need that. Yes.
I am still big wig, costume wearing, like drag queen, like to the nines, like, kind of drag. This new like leotard and pair of lashes and Five Below does not cut it.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Y'all didn't catch that because
that was a read.
This is when you are talking to a drag professional because she will read the dolls down without even batting an eye. And if you didn't catch it, bitch, you better rewind. I'm here for this conversation. I'm gonna just shut up now. I ain't gotta say nothing.
I think that there's this is so many directions this can go into. Like as the entertainment director at Godfrey's, I think that people fail to realize that drag is also a business for the bars, and it's also, and so you have to maintain a certain level of quality. You have to maintain a certain level of, as I mentioned, most of our crowds, especially at the drag brunches, are straight. So, if they can order the same thing that you're wearing on stage on Amazon and they can have one too, then what's the point of them coming to the show?
Oh.
They said they could be here between 5 and 8 p.m. tonight.
She said beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns. So I think that, nowadays the big old thing is like all drag is valid. I agree. All drag is valid, but all drag is not bookable.
Oh.
So that's something that, as the entertainment director at Godfrey's, I get a lot of flack, or, there's a lot of conversations behind the scenes because they ain't saying it to me, but there's a lot of conversations about, there's a lot of conversations about, Alvion's a gatekeeper, or she only books this kind of drag, or they only do this kind of drag at Godfrey's. Because we have standards. Like, there's like a Godfrey's guideline kind of thing. You have to wear your lashes, you have to wear nails, you have to wear tights, you have to wear, and if you don't want to wear that, then this isn't the place for you. And a lot of people always think that just because we're a gay establishment and you're gay, you automatically are entitled to work here, or you're entitled to get a chance, or you're entitled. And that's not the case. It's just like, screw Target at this moment. But if you work at Target, you have to wear a red shirt and khakis. You can't go in there and tell them, oh, I'm going to wear a burgundy shirt and black jeans. Well, baby, you just won't work here. I mean, that's just the way that it is. And so while we do serve the community and we do great things here and benefits and raise money for research and cancer and HIV and, we are a part of the community, but we are also a business. And there are certain things that you have to, uphold so that the business continues to go. If you go to McDonald's and you get a bad burger, you're not going to go back to that McDonald's. You'll go to a different one. If you go to, ice cream shop and the ice cream spoil, you won't go back to that ice cream shop. So you go where there's quality drag, and you go where there you get a quality show that's well ran, that's going to start on time, that, the costume value, and so that's what we pride ourselves here. And that's why we lasted for 27 years. I mean, I've been in this industry. You're talking about times changing, and I've been working here at Godfrey's. I started in February of 2003. And I have been working in the same building since then doing drag. And I have seen so many clubs and restaurants and you name it, they're having drag shows in the last 2 weeks or last a month or last 3 months. Because the fact is that these places usually aren't gay owned and operated. So once the money stops trickling in, or the quality of the show is not bringing in what they expected, baby, it's on to the next. We're not going to do drag no more. Next week, we're going to have cornhole tournaments, or next week, we're going to, whatever. Because the heart of it is not in the business. They're just doing it because they see that drag shows bring money. Drag brunches bring money. Drag, that's why they're doing it. So I think that, back to the original question about how things have changed, it's very much that people are looking at drag now as a come up,
a quick money maker.
Oh yeah. And it's not an art for the community. It's not an expression of who we are. It's not a place for us. And I think that things in the community are a double-edged sword. We fight so much for rights. We fight so much to be accepted. We fight so much, to be in the number, to belong, and that kind of thing. But then what happens when those venues start to steal the things that we hold true? We want to be in the straight club. What happens when the straight club starts a drag show? And now everybody's going to the straight club drag show instead of coming to the gay club drag show, which hurts the gay dollar, which hurts the gay community, which hurts. So it's so many double-edged swords when it comes to wanting to be a part and wanting to belong and wanting to, even with RuPaul's Drag Race now, people had to go to clubs to see drag. I can sit on my couch now and watch a drag show, so it's been a big change in things.
Well, you said something too.
I know we all got questions,
right?
I see it in all our faces
because you mentioned standard, and there's something about the standard that you're mentioning that I love about drag, and I feel like this past finale of RuPaul's Drag Race really talks about the different types of drag, right? And especially with how Anya performed, which is not doing all the tricks and gimmicks and, twirls and reveals and all the rest of the stuff, but, giving a strong standing performance of a lip sync versus having to easily entertain the children because the children got, a brain cell that's fucking big. Yeah, exactly, right? Mm-hmm. So they need all that extra stuff. So I was like, no, Anya won to me because you could stand 10 toes down and I have to do all that and still capture an audience and command a room right there. And someone who don't need to do all that stuff over there and still can present, that's my type of drag. So I love the standard.
And I built my career on that. I've never done a split. I've never done a jump off of nothing. I've never backflipped.
Girl, me too.
Drag, nothing. This is not aerobics class. This is not, and one of the things that I try to instill in the younger generation who does all that is baby, you ain't got no health or life insurance doing this. So the moment you
Girl,
jump off of a chair and break your leg, what you gonna do?
Do the Michael Jackson remember the time at the
Exactly.
at the award show?
A lot of times they do all of that, especially at the drag shows. They do all of that, and you make $2 more than you already had. So
Yeah,
what was the
yeah,
point of
yeah.
risking your limbs and your bones to make $2 more? Was it really that serious to you?
I love what you said. I love what you said about gatekeeping, and I can hear it in your voice. You know, the that's not necessarily the role that perhaps you might stand 10 toes down on, but I honestly believe
Someone
that
has
in
to do
some
it.
that was my point. I believe that somebody has to, not in every place and not in every role and not in every opportunity, but there are some things that require a certain level of, you need to have your T's crossed and your I's dotted before you can step in through this door. And it speaks a lot to a lack of consistency, and it's not for a lack of talent, but it's a lack of personal accountability and responsibility. Because what you said about having that this is a business, a lot of people, at least in conversations I've had with like younger drag queens, and I live in New York, so I interact with quite a few. It's kiki, it's like, I'm gonna wear a cute outfit, I'm gonna look fishy, I'm gonna look whatever it is. It is the aesthetic first. And then if you've got a dance background, an acrobatic background, or whatever, you've got that. So yeah, you can dip and twirl, but can you do it consistently? Can you be accountable to show up when you need to show up? Do you understand the role that you are playing when you step into the doors, not just to perform? It's one thing to be a part of a competition. It's another thing to try to book a gig so that not only you get coins, but it lives up to the standards of the establishment that you are in. And it hopefully translates into something that is repeatable. And a lot of these young girls, they grew up on Instagram. They grew up on getting a lot of likes for, the aesthetics, and not having the tenacity that it takes to really put the work in and make a career out of it. And gatekeepers check them. You can go over there with that, but if you want to come here, you got to meet a certain bar. And I love that. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. I think that, in response to that, there's so, as I said, it can be, this conversation can be taken in so many different directions. But I think that a lot of the times I feel like it's a lack of creativity. It's a lack of responsibility. It's a lack of, I just want to be lazy. I want to spend $5 on this cat suit and make $1 million. I feel like it's, the investment of what it takes. When I first started years ago, the owner of Godfrey's, well, the former owner, there's a new owner now, but the former owner also sewed. Like, he created costumes, and like the basement here, he had like a whole sewing workshop down there of making things and all that, because he was like diehard in love with drag. Like, Godfrey's is a drag bar. It's not like, we have dance nights, but drag keeps the doors open. That's what keeps this place open. And and when I first started, he always explained to me, which at the point I was just like them, baby, I'm not wearing no big old feather back piece. I can't go out there and do my Fantasia number with no feathers on my back. I can't go out there and do, Anita Baker wearing some tingling things hanging from my titties, and that's just, But now that 23 years later, 22 years later, I get it. Because a lot of times I'm called to do, hey, my husband's retiring and I want to have a Western party. Do you have a cowboy costume? Hey, my grandma's turning 60 and we want to have a 70s party. Do you have a 70s costume? Hey, that kind of. So these girls that are out here thinking that you got to jump off of stuff and wear a leotard, they won't call you because you don't have a 70s costume. You don't have a cowboy costume. We're not looking for a leotard. We're not looking for a shake and go from the beauty supply store. So if those are the things that you feel like is your wardrobe, then you're limiting yourself to nightclub performances. You're limiting yourself to, those venues that will offer you $50 to be there. And you accept those because you have $10 worth of drag. So if you have a costume that's worth $1,000, you're not taking a $50 booking. You've got to understand your worth.
Hey, man.
And you can't go into venues and say, "Oh, I demand a $250 booking fee," and then you got $100 worth of your hair, your makeup, your shoes, your earring, everything costs is worth $100, and you requesting a $500 booking fee. It's just like if you went to a Beyoncé concert. Since the Beyonce's in concert now,
Happy Cowboy Carter tour.
If you went into a Beyonce concert and she stood there in the middle of the stage and she sung Dangerously in Love and all of the slow ballads, and there were no, riding across the ceiling, there was no backup, no Blue Ivy, no da-da-da-da-da. The first thing you would say, "Ooh, girl, that budget must have been tight for this concert. Ooh, ooh, she must be getting old. Ooh, girl, those are the things that you would say because you're still paying the Renaissance and Cowboy Carter tour price, but now you're getting the Patti LaBelle show. So it's like you've got to be able to. And I love Patti, no tea. I'm just saying,
but.
Patti
Where my cars at?
Right, Patti ain't swinging from the
I don't know the
words. So it's like, for that reason, you get what you pay for. You experience and you get what you pay for, and you can only request what you're worth.
Yeah.
So if that's the kind of drag that you want to do, if you want to do the Amazon catsuit, boots from the corner store, then that's where you will always be. Like, and so I try to instill that in the girls. It's like, invest in it. You get out of it what you put into it. It's just like your bank account. You put $1,000 in, you can only get $1,000 out. That's just the way that it works. So it's the same thing with drag. Like, don't expect the Sasha Colby booking fee if you ain't the Sasha Colby.
Ain't putting in that effort. Yeah.
So, Carell, what I'm hearing is when you get your face painted, you better get it done correctly, okay?
Oh, 1,000%. You know how I do. I ain't going to the corner store. I ain't going to the Dollar Tree. I'm curious, like, a couple of things. Like, first, I'm curious, like, who taught you, like, this demeanor then? Like, who was, like, your drag mother that instilled this in you? But then I'm also curious, since so many of the clientele are straight, especially in the clientele and the climate we're in, how do you, like, still protect the art of drag when there's so many people trying to take it away from us and saying it's not worth anything and things like that? So, like, I just have all these questions because it's just like, especially at least in my mind, like a Richmond, Virginia seems maybe a little more conservative than like a New York City or something like that.
Used to be.
Okay.
It used to be. So I mean, remember your questions. The first question was, where did I get my upbringing? And then the second question was, how do we conserve it, or how do we make sure that it
still stays the art of drag in the maybe a more conservative area? So
for me, back when I started, drag was totally different. Like, you had to earn your spot. Nobody, it was not like, oh, you did the talent show today and next week you in the show and you on the headline and you on the poster. It was not like that. When I first started drag, it for instance with Continental Plus, it was like being Miss Continental Plus or being Miss USA or being Miss Black Universe was like the celebrities. Like, the clubs would put up like flyers, the clubs would be packed, like people would come from all over to see Miss Black Universe or to see Miss Continental or things like that. So back then it was almost like pageants were a way to market yourself. They were a way to get you in different areas, get you in spaces that you normally wouldn't be in.
And they were the drag race.
Yes.
They were like the drag race of the time.
Yes, they were like the drag race. And so now it's like, so for my upbringing, I came in on like the cusp of like traditional drag, and now we're about to try to start something new kind of drag. And so everybody in this city was traditional. We didn't have like nobody trying to do no, leotard drag. Like these girls, when I first started, was coming out in costumes. Like one girl had like a grand piano built around her, and she was like the candelabra in the middle of it. And she did like, and it was on wheels, like a whole piano made out of like cardboard or something. It looked absolutely real.
I love it.
And she came out performing like Piano in the Dark. He played the piano in the dark. Like that was the kind of drag that these girls did around here. Like one girl had like a dress with like these big nimbers down the front, and she had a phone receiver that came out of the side of the dress, and she did like, call me if you need someone to talk to. Like that was the kind of drag I was built up on. So that was what made me fall in love with it. And that's what I wanted to pattern myself out of. That was going to a show. That was something you couldn't see on MTV. Something that wasn't, playing. That was just like, they were the best of the best to me. Like, so I was like, girl, how the hell, you in the middle of a damn piano? Like, what is going, like seriously? Like that was the kind of dress. Like one girl had like a big canoe built around her and came in rowing, doing Colors of the Wind, dressed as Pocahontas. Like,
come on, Vanessa Williams.
I'm telling you, like, it was extreme. It was not like, leotard drag or catsuit drag or TV video girl drag. Like, they weren't trying to be fishy. Trust me, that was the least of their idea. So coming up in that, I think I just was like, all of the elders in the community were just like, look, girl, if you're going to do this, this is the way that it's done. We're going to put you together. This is what you got to do. We see that there's talent in you. You're great on the microphone. We see that you could, grow and go far. So, it's almost like a community-wide investment. Like, this person taught me how to do makeup. This person started making costumes. This person, watched out for me, make sure that the right boys and the wrong boys were in the right places. And I'm on doing it, all that kind of stuff. And
the right boys and the wrong boys in the right places. I love that.
And the right and the wrong. Depending on what you want tonight. Go to this side if you want to go over there. But go home by yourself if you're on that side. Like that, all that. But no, seriously. So I think that, and back then it was a greater sense of community. It wasn't crabs in the barrel. It wasn't, I got to be better than you, or I got to. And nowadays it's more a sense of like, oh, girl, I got 5,000 rhinestones and you got 4,999. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like, girl, if you're missing a stone, I'm going to take one off my dress and put it on yours. Like, that's how it was when I started. And so those elders in the community, much who have passed on or no longer do drag because now they're like in their 70s and 80s and, stuff like that. And, so I think that was what instilled in me those values of costume value and entertainment value and things like that old school style of drag. And then the part two of that, the other question is, and I think that that's what, again, has kept drag so relevant at Godfrey's, because that you're going to come and see a show. We have had the mayor come to the show. The governor and his wife have come to the show. Lawyers and doctors and hillbillies from the red South. I mean, everybody, straight guys with gun toting. You got to leave that in the car player. Kind of, all of those. We've had, we've had it all. And I think it's because Godfrey's built a great rapport in this city. Like I said, we've done benefits for kids dying of cancer and breast cancer awareness and, all those kinds of things. So the community kind of looks out for us. Like we kind of, we luckily don't have like, the fire marshal trying to shut us down or gay bashing, somebody blowing up the building in the middle of the night, or no craziness, no knock on wood, none of that, kind of crazy old stuff. And I think that that's what has kept it. We're like the longest running, like I mentioned earlier, there have been all kinds of places who tried to do shows, who even like directly across the street from us, there was a comedy club and they tried to start a drag brunch the same days, the same times, try to use our girls, try to hold, it lasted a month. And so, I think it's just one of those things where we're just like, grandma said, go to Godfrey's, it's the good place. You know, it's just like one of those. You know, I think that
Yeah.
that's what they know, that they're going to come to see a quality show. They know that the drinks are going to be good. They know they're going to be safe. They know we're going to have a good time. And I think that that's what has kept us running and kept us under the radar of attack. And even in this climate, like
I
we, you
love
know,
that.
we stand strong on political views, and we encourage voter registration, and we, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think that that's really what has kept us.
That's good to hear.
Love
Because
that.
like even in major cities, you just kind of hear like certain establishments. Like it always feels like gay establishments are just like getting shut down left and right. And I love hearing stories, especially in particular areas that where maybe the perception is a certain way, to say no, the
Now,
community is sticking up for us, and it doesn't mean we haven't had rough times, but for the most part, they're going to get a good quality product, and it represents their community, so they're also going to make sure we're cool and safe. So I love hearing that.
so the establishments that you're speaking of getting shut down, are they gay owned, or are they just gay
That's true
spots?
too. No, that's a whole word too. Yeah, I mean
Because I
the ones
think
that
that,
I usually see like are the gay owned, at least the ones that I care that get shut down. I should
yeah.
say, maybe
See,
that's
I
the way to
think
say
that it's one of those things that,
it.
like, you know, with there's so many again opportunities that could go into that, but you know, the gay owned establishments, their heart is in it. And so they
Yeah,
would give their last. They would go
yeah,
without to make sure that it stayed open. They would, you
yeah.
know, the owner, for instance, one of the owners here, doesn't have any family. Like his only sister passed away. He doesn't have, you know, kids, or he has like one nephew that works here every now and then. But if he were to pass, then what? Would the establishment be shut down? Would it be, you know, so sometimes
Mm,
the establishments are being shut down, but it's because there's no one to take it over, or there's
yeah,
no, you
yeah,
know, it's not necessarily because they don't make money or the climate isn't good, or, you know, there's some other things that may go into
yeah.
why these establishments are being shut down.
Mhm.
No, that's true.
Mhm.
That is true. We gonna need to make a trip to Richmond, y'all.
I know. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
too.
We're going to Godfrey's,
I
okay?
want to,
Look.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to HBO, because
Absolutely.
HBO, Netflix, y'all need to pop y'all asses down in Richmond and
Yes.
do some kind of a docu series or something on these cities that have these establishments that are just part of the fabric of
Pillars.
the gay community, the LGBTQIA plus community, and our allies, because these kind of stories is part of the reason why we have this platform of a podcast, because you don't hear about places like this or people that have put this much time and energy and investment into their craft, and it's great to have that opportunity with you.
It's so glad that you said that, because Godfrey's is also in the middle of like 4 or 5 colleges: VCU, Virginia Union University, J. Sargent. It's like there's lots of colleges here, and it never fails. Like every year, I get like bombarded with students who want to do their final paper on drag or on
Mm.
Godfrey's or on, you know, that kind of thing. And one of the things that breaks my heart for the better, I shouldn't say for the better, but it they come to me seeking the horror story. They want
Mm.
to hear me say that, you know, my brother beat me up and I was bullied in school and my parents put me out, and I had to overcome the obstacle, and I do drag because I don't have an education, and I did, you know, they want to hear that. And luckily I'm the opposite. My
Mhm.
family comes to the drag shows. My mom lives with me now. You know, I've never been beat up because I was gay, or my mama didn't, you know, chase me down the street with a shotgun because I was her gay son. And they get so disappointed. You can see the look of like disappointment in their face when they're like, "Well, tell me about
Mhm.
your upbringing." I'm like, "Oh, I had a fearful upbringing, baby. I just, you know, da, da, da."
Yeah.
And they'd be like,
Oh.
"Oh, well, tell us about school." And I'm like, "Well, child, I was in military. I did this. I was playing the prom. You know," and they just are like, "Oh, well, tell it." And I'm like, what are you seeking? Do you want
Yeah.
the horror story? Do you want like this to turn into Barbara Waters and Silk 60 Minutes, and I start crying or something? Like, what are you seeking from this? So to your point,
Yeah.
yes, these kinds of stories do need to get out, so that there's some little boy in excuse my language, Egypt or Wyoming or wherever, who thinks that there's no way out, that this is the only way, that my family hates me, that I did it, and it's not always the case.
That.
I love it.
It's not always the case. And people, you know, like I said, I do them at least 5 or 6 of them every semester, every year. There's somebody, I mean, I have
That's
DVDs
crazy.
that they've sent me of the final product and all of that. And you can literally see, like, they get so like, oh, this ain't what we was expecting. Oh, this probably ain't gonna give me the grade I thought. This ain't as dramatic as I wanted it to be. Like, you know, it's so disheartening that that's all they think of us. That's all that they think happens, and that's not the case. I stand proud as a Christian, born and raised in Baptist church. No problems, never got beat up. I only had one problem in high school. I'll tell this real quick.
It too.
When I went to the 9th grade. My brother was in the 12th grade. He was a senior. And my brother is complete opposite of me. I mean, like, I'm dark skinned, he light skinned. I got long hair, he bald head. I'm thicker, he's skinny. Like, you would not even think that we were siblings if you saw us in the same room. And so at lunch one day, I was freshman in high school, he was a senior. And I don't even know how this guy just thought it was what he was doing, but you know, he just started, yeah, you're faggot ass. I don't know, faggot sitting at my table. And I was like, who the fuck he talking to? Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, this my table. I beat your ass. Oh, you will? Okay, come on. Like, and literally, as soon as he stood up, another boy came from nowhere. It was like, hey, yo, chill. That's Ed, brother. Yo, chill out. You don't want that's it. Like,
you don't want that smoke.
And the guy was like, oh, my bad, bro. I ain't know. And when I tell you, I like, you pussy ass, like, really went in there. I really went in there. And that was the only problem I've ever had, or the only situation where it could have went the other way. And, you know, well, not technically the other way because I know how to fight, but it could have turned into, you know, one of those gay bashing moments or whatever the case is. And that literally was like the only time in my life that I can remember I've come close to, you know, that kind of situation.
I hate when people realize that we can't have joy. And that a lot of us do have joy. You know, like, it's so wild to me that a lot of folks can't fathom that we actually had a great childhood and actually get along with our parents and this and that. And, like, it's mind-boggling.
Now, I have experienced the other side of it. I've had friends who, especially in, like, high school, I had a friend that came to, like, we shared my twin bed because their family put them out. And, you know, so I understand that side of it, but thankfully that was not me. But I just want that story to be told, and I want it to be heard as much as possible, because again, there's some little child just struggling with themselves, you know, in one of these backwood countries, thinking that there's no way out, or this is the way it has to be, or, you know, that kind of thing. So when he brought up that HBO thing, that really, really reminded me of that.
It also just goes to show that we're not just defined by our traumas, but we're also defined by our triumphs.
Yes.
Ooh, come on, preacher Hawkins. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Deacon Hawkins with the word today.
Pass the plate. Time to pass the plate.
Baby, where's my tambourine at? I'm curious because, I mean, we said at the jump, you are, well, I guess you just stepped down, but in my eyes, you still always the Miss Continental Plus to me. But how did it feel to get that crown? Because, like, I know there's a couple times you're close and things like that, but just to finally get that crown, like, damn, I did this.
Because you were second alternate, right? Like in 2018, right?
Yeah. So I did it in my very first year. Was 2018, and my goal was just to go and make the top 10. Like, I was like, girl, I ain't about to win. I just want to go make that child, you know, dance with the big girls. I want to make sure I got it. You know, that was my goal. And so, one thing about me is I'm a very realistic person, and I understand when the odds are stacked against you. I understand when it's the rigging, you got to go unrig it. I get it. I'm an honest person. I've been there, done that. I get it. So my very first year going to Continental Plus, my goal was just to make the top 12. And then they called me for the top 5. And then they called me as the second alternate, and I was like, "Oh, bitch, I don't won. This more than I expected. I ain't got shit. Like, I'm good." Like, everybody said, "Oh, you okay? Oh, you baby? Listen, I am on cloud 9. Congratulations, girl. You know,
right."
And then the next year I went back and I got second alternate again. And then I went again and I got first alternate.
Yep.
And that year kind of broke my spirit. For the simple fact, I think that, you know, I had invested it cost so much money and it cost so much time, and you sacrifice, and, you know, instead of buying a new car, I'm gonna buy a new dress. And instead of buying a new, you know, all of that kind of stuff, you like really starts to be like, okay, why am I doing this? You know, I could be, my mom's older, I could be paying her rent or something now. You know, what am I doing? Kind of thing. But everything happens in God's timing. Everything happens when it's supposed to. Because had I won that year, I would have only been able to experience a 6-month reign instead of a full year.
Because of COVID.
And they didn't let us know that when we were competing. But once the pageant was over, they said, well, in order to catch up, this person will only have a 6-month reign.
Wow.
And starting next year, we'll go back to because it's always in Easter, like Plus and Elite Easter week. Oh, let me put this down. Plus and Elite Easter weekend, and then Mr. and Mrs. Labor Day weekend. And so what they were doing because of COVID, they were having everything in one weekend. Like one night, to just get it, you know, back into the swing. So had I won the year I placed first alternate, I would have only had a 6-month reign. Wow. And so looking back now, again, everything happens in God's perfect timing, because all that full year and the years that I put into it, I would have been pissed off.
That just for 6 months for half, baby. All that to get half.
Yeah, part of it is like the reason why I wanted to be Miss Continental Plus, honestly. You know, there were two things when I first started. As I mentioned earlier, winning pageants was kind of the way to get out there and get yourself known. And so when I first started, Black Universe was the top of the ladder in Black pageantry. And Miss Continental Plus was like the top of the ladder in anything but Black pageantry. And so I was like, I want to be Miss Black Universe and I want to be Miss Continental Plus, because that way I feel like I have achieved both sides of the spectrum. And I won Miss Black Universe in 2016. And so then I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to set on my goal to become Miss Continental Plus. And so I won that, thankfully. And the whole reasoning behind it was I'm someone that loves to travel. I love drag and I love pageantry. And winning Continental, they have preliminaries. You get to go to Miss Wisconsin Continental. You get to go to Miss Mexico Continental, Miss East Coast Continental, Miss all these different places. And that was the point of me being Miss Continental, because like when I started, that's what I needed. I needed to be in Wisconsin. I needed to be in these places that my career hadn't already taken me. And so becoming Miss Continental Plus afforded me all those opportunities. I met some amazing people, ended up on HGTV, did this whole documentary with them about buying houses. I don't know what the hell that was about. And I mean, it just put you into places and put me into places where, am I still here? Somebody's reconnecting. Is that me?
I think it's Jarrell.
Oh, okay. And it put me into those places. So finally being able to win that, is almost at this point, I'm like, oh, girl, I can retire now. Like, I'm done with, I've done what I wanted to do. Yeah. You know, so.
The rest of the cherry on top at this point. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything, and not to sound like, if any other pageants are listening, but it's almost like you went and got a master's degree, but now you're going back to school to get a bachelor's degree. So it's kind of like, you know, it still would add to what you know, it's just kind of like...
it's like been there, done that.
And then sometimes people get shady. They be like, oh, she thinks she all that because she was Miss Continental. We going to work her, you know.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, in these pageants. Like, oh, she thinks, oh, Miss Continental thinks she going to come in here and just walk on through the pageant. We're going to show her.
And do. And do.
And will.
Thank you.
But that happens in the community where people, because a lot of this is attached to like drag families and drag legacies, and people get mad because you beat their mama at the pageant, or that girl didn't win when you was my sister's supposed to have won, they cheated, and all that kind of jazz. So then when you go somewhere else, it'd be like, okay, well, this is our turn to get her ass back. Like she
see, that's a true reality show we need.
Listen,
right.
That's a true reality show.
The vendettas.
That's how it is. It really is like that. Like we just dealt with that in another pageant. I won't say the name, but one of the judges was like sweet on one of the contestants, and they were doing the things when the lights went off, and the person ended up winning the contest and was technically probably not supposed to, and so it went through like this whole thing. We had to remove somebody, and they've been in this position for like 15 years, and they had to get like, hey, we're telling you to step down or we're gonna fire you kind of thing for the sake of the system, blah blah blah. So yeah, it happens.
They said,
again, remember what I said,
it's
a business.
Right.
That must be some good stuff.
Let me tell you, I don't normally do reality TV, but I'll be like Auntie Shar on this one. I'll watch that.
That sounds like a good ass TV to me.
Love.
Speaking of TV, like we've seen the evolution, like you were saying earlier, like a lot of people could watch drag on TV now, which was like never the case 15 years ago. I'm trying to see how to phrase this. How did you or do you fight maybe the urge to maybe just think that Drag Race is the only lane now? Because I feel like a lot of folks, and it might just be because like maybe folks that weren't fans of drag culture before the show came, that's the only maybe connection that they have, and think that's the only way you could become famous or well known or succeed and successful and things like that. How does one maybe resist that if they really don't want to and know that there's other avenues to be successful? Or should that be like, well, maybe you should get on Drag Race? I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So I have Drag Race to me is what's the word with the word? Commercial.
Say it with your whole chest, baby.
It's commercial.
Yeah.
And I say that because, of course it's a TV show. It's a production. They gotta stir the drama. They gotta create moments. They gotta, all that to keep it interesting. But not one episode have I saw them teach anybody how to make a wig. I have not seen them teach anybody how to put their pads on. I have not seen them teach anybody how to properly get themselves booked. I haven't seen all the stuff that matters in drag. They ain't did it.
Yeah.
So it's like, and there's like this big old like thing in the community where local drag versus Drag Race drag, support local drag, because these Drag Race girls will come to the city and request like $7,000 booking fees, and then they'll put local girls in the show at $50 each. So if you got $7,000 to pay her, then why are we getting paid $50 every week?
That part right there.
I am proud to say that Godfrey's does not condone in booking those types of girls who request those kinds of fees. And if they do, they normally come for Pride or something like that. And we have a connection with the Pride board where we like split the cost, or we just host the after parties or something like that. Because again, not to discredit them for their fame or not to take away from what they are, but today, tomorrow, and the day after you're here, we still have drag shows. And we have to be fair to these girls in our city who pay their bills, who buy their lunch, who, whatever with what they make here. And so, every now and then it's a great thing to have them to celebrate their success. They're part of our community. But I think that Drag Race also has stunted the growth of drag because now that's what they see. That's what's in everybody's face. Yes, that's the leotard, do a split in the finale, lip sync for your life. So that's what everybody thinks you have to do now. And like we said earlier, nobody's emoting and feeling the song and standing there in true expression. They think that when the beat drops, you got to fall into a jump drop. When the beat drops, you got to do a split. When the da-da-da, instead of the dramatics of yesterday and throwing your money in the air or whatever. So I think that it's a double-edged sword. Again, it brings awareness to drag and it lets people see it. Older people who may not be able to come out to a show, or
Right.
mentally or physically challenged people who can't come to nightclubs or things like that can get their feel. But again, I just think that it also stunts the creativity, and it doesn't, there's battles with like designers who only want to work with drag race girls, and hairstylists who only want to work with drag race girls, and which goes back to say, if you learn to make your own hair, if you learn to do your own costumes, if you're not so reliant on people who are able to make you feel less than to a drag race girl.
Right.
So when I was, raised in drag, those were the things we learned. We learned how to make our own pads. We learned how to, book yourself and reach out to venues and have promo cards and business cards and things like that. And these girls aren't learning that by sitting at home watching Drag Race.
It sounds like the America's Next Top Model version of Drag Race. Like,
Well, that's what the show
you
was
know,
about.
like that's,
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
So of the aunties, I am the one who is like new to drag, especially Drag Race in the last couple of years. And if I'm not mistaken, Sasha Colby was also in the pageant realm as well, right before joining Drag Race, right?
She's a former Miss Continental.
Okay, all right. So that was kind of the part, kind of to like kind of Carell's question about like, I learned at that moment that there was other ways to get into drag to become someone that everyone knows without having to go on Drag Race. And to your point, it sounds like going that route teaches you some of those things to help you have a lasting career that can allow you to continue to do the things that you want to do with life. Because I've been watching just for what, maybe 4 years, 3 years now?
Yeah.
I probably still only heard of maybe 3 of the 50-something girls I didn't seen in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, once you're off the show, and that's another thing, they sometimes cast girls who's been doing drag for a month or 2 weeks, or I've only been doing drag for 4 weeks, and now I'm on Drag Race. And so what happens is, once they're away from Drag Race, and remember back to I said, you need to know how to wear this, you need to have your standards, you need to you don't have that. And now what happens is, they've gotten so greedy that there's season 12, then there's All Stars, then there's Canada, then there's da-da-da-da. So even in the same season, you are a has-been once the All Stars come out, once the Canada comes out, once the da-da-da.
Yeah.
So now you are like, I also work with our Pride organization, and we're in the process of booking talent for this year's Pride. And like looking at the options, it's like, oh, well, girl, she was just, who is that? She was just on season, what? Like, I'm old school Drag Race. I'm still on the Alexis Mateo, Kennedy Davenport, like, like
the legacy
China,
queens, yes,
and so it's like, it's one of those things, like, if you don't, just like with your real job, if you don't stick with the change of times and the change of process and the change of, you get left back. One of the most underrated, talented Drag Race people that does not get what she deserves, and I don't know if it's because of her personal, whatever, but Trinity Bonet is one of the most entertaining, most. I mean, just you say do Dolly Parton and she'll do it. You say jump off the ceiling and you'll do it. You say look like Aaliyah and she'll do it. One of the most talented people ever to cross a drag stage, and does not get the notoriety and the respect and the bookings and the everything that she's supposed to get, because during her season, they looked over her. They played around for the optics of television and dumbed down her talent. And so now people don't look at her for her worth. They look at her for what she placed on Drag Race.
Yeah. And that's hopefully something that folks at least take in consideration. And for those listening, this whole episode is just a school. Get your notepad out, because you ain't taking notes.
I mean,
Even if you don't do drag, these are notes for just life, point blank, period.
Yeah, because you've got to, like, even as I mentioned earlier, some of the legends in my area. There's a queen here named Victoria Snow, and when I came out, Victoria was the know all be all. She was the one I'm talking about with the grand piano. Like she was like she would show up at pageants and girls would drop out. Like that's how sickening and good she was. But over the last 20 years, she's done nothing to remain relevant. She hasn't done any pageants. She hasn't, been on the front lines for rights and fighting, or been in the nightclubs, or da da da. And so, if you ask somebody under the age of 40 in the city who is Victoria Snow, they wouldn't know. My mama know who Victoria. Like she was that that girl.
Yeah.
Like my mama knew Victoria, and she was like a hairstylist. So everybody's mamas and aunties and everybody went and got their hair done by her. But unfortunately, because she didn't keep up with the change in time, she didn't constantly reinvent herself and put herself in the front. Now she's just like, we'll see her for the Christmas show, or she'll come, somebody will have an old folks legends show or something, and she'll come out. But other than that, like so much
in the sands of time.
So much talent.
Yeah.
Like Google when we're done, do some YouTube videos and stuff of Victoria C. Snow, and you will be like, "Bitch, what?" Like
it's like, damn, I want to see that piano. That's what I want to see.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I bet.
But yeah, you got to stay with the change of times. You got to do things to, I'm not a big fan of Cardi B's and all the wet ass pussies and all that stuff.
Ooh,
but
I am though.
But I understand that with the change in times, every now and then I got to perform a wet ass pussy song.
You better say wop 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 right quick. Wop bada loo wop wop bam bam.
You got to stay relevant. You got to stay with the change in times. I'll do a Taylor Swift number in a minute.
Ooh.
You better.
That might be too far from me.
Yeah. Absolutely. But you know what? But you in Richmond. She in Richmond. So
and she said at the top of the show, who be going to her shows?
Right.
It'd be them.
Right. You gotta get them coins.
Piggybacking on that real quick, I would love to know, what is one of your all-time favorite performances that you did? Doesn't matter how people reacted to it, but the performance that gave you life.
And that might be a good segue to curiosity. That was one of the questions. So we're going to hop into curiosity right now, community.
I have there are a few of them because of different reasons. Like for a while, I was like a dress and hair updo glamour girl, and when I competed at Black Universe, I challenged myself to do a Missy Elliott illusion, and so like. Breaking into a different style and genre was like mind-blowing for me, and one of my best and favorite times in my career. But then also
wait, what Missy song?
It was a mix of songs. It started with what was the song? Shake It Like a Pom Pom, and
that was a Shake It Like a Pom Pom.
Yeah.
Like a pom pom.
There's like a whole, like, I had backup dancers and an Adidas outfit on, and like a whole thing. But then there's also moments like, stepping down from pageants and, songs that really meant something to me because of the year or because of the time or because of, what I was going through in life. So actually, when I just stepped down from Continental, one of the songs I did was You and Me Against the World by Gladys Knight.
Oh, wow. Come on, Gladys.
And that kind of summed up my year because right before I won Continental, I'm engaged, and so I have a fiance.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And then my mom's health has not really declined, but she ain't moving around like she used to and all that kind of stuff. So she kind of lives with me now. And then in the political climate that we're in, so that song, it talks about, me and you against the world. So me and my fiance against the world, me and my community against the world, me and my mom trying to make it against the world, like things like that. So like I perform songs usually that have some kind of emotional attachment to it, like
Yeah.
something that I can really, because I feel like if you can feel and understand the lyrics, you can it'll come out better.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my favorite. You and Me Against the World by Gladys Knight was one of my favorite performances.
Is there video of that anywhere that we can check out?
There is a video. There is. They recorded the pageant, so there is a video with D West, and I think there's like a live, like you can log on to see it live or something like that.
I have to find that video.
Check that out.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a few more curiosity questions here.
Okay.
You said you're engaged, so do you want a big wedding or a small wedding?
I want the fairy tale wedding. I've always wanted like the big old wedding, 200 guests.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted that. But again, in this climate, I don't know if I should just go to the courthouse and have a cookout in my backyard. Like you know,
I bet the food would be better.
Yeah.
It would definitely be
and
better.
that's the other thing. I'm really big into like event planning and party planning and all of that. And I think that having the dream wedding will also be a nightmare because I'll be walking around saying, why does that flower look like that? This food don't taste like it's supposed to. Why is that? I paid for you to do that. Like, so I think that it will also be a nightmare because I'm not able to control it myself. I'm not able to.
Because why are you playing with my money? I paid all this money, so you.
And I'm also a great cook. So if this macaroni and cheese don't taste like mine, like what is this? Like, you know, so I think that
baby, you gotta go to cookout route.
Yeah, so I really think that might be the and see, I usually have a big cookout in the summer and a Christmas party at my house in the for Christmas because I know so many people and it's hard to remember everybody's birthdays and when they had their babies and who done got married and you know, and people are always like bringing me gifts and are always so nice. So I always have like a big cookout. I pay for all the food, pay for the DJ, pay for everything. Just come have a good time. This is my thank you for all you've done, you know, because it's just, it's too much to remember everybody's birthdays and weddings and when they had their babies and graduations. It's too much.
Your favorite color wig, is it black? Is it brunette? Is it ash blonde? Is it burgundy? Is it blue?
It's probably black, honestly. One of the elders here in Richmond, when I first started doing drag, my hair was always black. Like every time I'm just black hat. And she was like, you need to stop that. You need to get some color. It'll bring out your features. And she used to like go buy the wigs for me. Put this on. Like
well, the ombre, ombre to honey blonde that you're wearing right now is.
I know.
I want that wig. Right, I want that wig.
But if you see, it still has a black root.
I see. It looks good.
Like she would always be like, "Girl, put some color on." Like it's okay. Like this is a character. It's an illusion. This ain't your real hair, girl. You're going to take it off. Like, come on, dude, you know. And to this day, like, she'll come to the show and I have, like, a blonde wig on or something. She's like, you look so good in that blonde, girl. You look so good.
There we go. I love it.
Hey, come on, Nene Leaks.
A Sunday brunch or a Saturday brunch?
Wait, to work or to go to?
Yeah, they've been both. So we have Saturday brunch and Sunday brunch here. And for the first 15 years, we only had Sunday. But the overwhelming response to it, we were turning people away, like hundreds of people away. And so we started the Saturday brunch and still the same thing, not enough space, not enough time. But the Saturday brunch is supposed to be more of it's called camping cocktails. So it's supposed to be more of like campy performances. Like, let's see, like one girl does like this Loretta Lynn song called One's on the Way, talking about her being pregnant or whatever. And so she comes out with like all these doll babies and there's one hanging off her titty and, crazy stuff like that. Or, so my choice, of course, would be Sunday because it's the traditional
Get
high,
up there and sang, baby.
hammer, back pieces, illusion, all that kind of stuff.
Got it. Okay. Let's see here. The beach or mountains?
Uh, so it depends. If I'm with my crew or my family or whatever, I would love to go to the beach. If it's a more intimate occasion where I want to be like laid up, snuggly,
Booed up, yes. You
yeah,
and the fiance, yes.
yeah, then the mountains where it's like cold and I have a reason to be all over you, like that.
Ooh,
that kind of, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So it really depends.
Okay. Sweet or savory?
I would probably go with savory. Like I said, I love cooking. That's one of my I cook to like clear my mind. Like I'll just go in the kitchen and just cook as my relaxation or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm again Southern, so sweet potato pies and
that was the next question. What's the perfect meal?
Yeah, like the perfect meal would be something fried and then something in gravy. So probably like fried chicken, but also like a pot roast with carrots and celery and potatoes and gravy, and then like macaroni and cheese and something green like cabbage.
Girl, you better stop.
Yeah,
I had cabbage in so long.
I love cabbage.
I
prefer cabbage over greens.
I love greens over cabbage.
Over greens too.
I love greens, but I have not had cabbage probably since I was a kid. It's been so long since I've had cabbage.
And see, I grew up on cabbage with like pigtails and turkey butts and stuff in it, ham hocks, and now like so more modern. And then my fiance is actually more country than I am. He grew up like chasing hogs and stuff like that. So it's like a perfect combination. But I also like with the white people, so I know how to like make cabbage with like bell peppers and
not gentrified the cabbage.
I ain't going that far.
Look,
but like a fried cabbage with like red peppers and green peppers in it, and maybe some bacon grease to season it, a little balsamic vinegar, like that kind of.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
We go, like I said,
are we getting an invite to this cookout?
Right.
Let me tell you, when this cookout,
we will show up.
It's always the last Saturday in August.
Oh, we might have to pop up.
We might have to come.
Before
if that's an invite, then I would love to come
absolutely
through.
I would love to have you. We have a good time. There's somebody grill. I hire like a grill person. They're grilling, and there's like a buffet in the tent. There's a DJ. We make like popsicles out of liquor, Jello shot. It's a good time.
I haven't been to like a good cookout like that in a while.
Look, I just checked the calendar.
While
we are clear.
The last Saturday.
We might have to pull up to Richmond.
Okay, yeah, we might have to do that.
I know that's right. Let's see here. Who's your drag Rushmore? And it could be anyone. It could be local. It could be RuPaul. It could be whomever. You're four. That's just the drag of the drag.
It's 4 people. Or is it 5?
It's 4.
4.
4. Chelsea Pearl, who has now passed on, but she was from Lexington, Kentucky, and I mean, good gracious, she is one of those people that we're talking about that would stand in one spot and have you in tears, like just and it, Chelsea Pearl would definitely be on my drag Mount Rushmore. And then there is a queen from Raleigh, North Carolina, who goes by the name of Dana St. James. Look her up. I promise you would understand why. I mean, yeah.
I'm typing these names in.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing.
Huh?
I know we just all writing the names down. We're like, okay, we about to check these ladies out.
And then Victoria LePage, out of Chicago, who is also a former Miss Continental Plus and a former Miss Continental. She won both divisions.
I feel like I know that name.
Yeah, she. I would put her on the drag Mount Rushmore, and then there is a queen who, I mean, probably started doing drag in the 50s. Named Tina DeVore, who has also passed on. But she was literally a drum major for drag justice, a drum major for our rights. Like, she was like on the lines with Dr. King. Like really living her authentic self, really, she's one of the people that she would walk in the room and everybody would just stand up and applaud her because she was that person, that legendary, if you mix like Maya Angelou and Michelle Obama with a little bit of Oprah, with a little bit of, she was that person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have to say Chelsea, Dana, Tina, and Victoria.
I love it. I love it. All right. I kind of want to almost do the Voltron. Should I do the Voltron? Because I'm sure we're going to do the Voltron.
Do it all. Whatever you want to
do. Yep. Do it.
I know. So the Voltron is like, okay, the head and the arms and the legs kind of come together and make the big Megatron of a warrior. So we're doing the drag version of that. And so we're going to start with, who would you want to do the makeup?
Does it have to be a drag queen?
That's a good question. No one's asked that. Yes. We'll kind of keep it in the drag queen lane because it could be like makeup artists and we'll keep them for something else.
Right,
so who's drag queen that you just look at them, you're like, God, their makeup is just so pretty every damn time.
God, I gotta bite the bullet and say this. Lindsay Page.
Okay.
Lindsay Page.
Okay. I'm very okay. Lindsay Page. All right. Whose wig game do you want on this Voltron? Who's got the best wigs in the game?
Raquel Lord.
Okay. Who's aesthetic? Who's just got their drip, their garments every time? You're like, damn, her dress is the best. Her garments are always the best.
Dana St. James.
Okay. And we added this one last time. Who's wit? Who's like just personality on stage? Who just commands the room? You're like, damn, they just funny. They just got it every time.
It's going through the Rolodex.
Paula Sinclair.
And then who's business acumen?
Naisha Dupree.
Okay, she had these names like boom, 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 bam, boom, boom, back, boom, back, boom. Come on, Kendrick. I love it.
These are all people that I've probably like taken a book page out of their books to create who I am. So that's why it was easy for me to be like, absolutely her. Absolutely,
Absolutely. And then we always end with this one. But actually, I'm going to do one before that. Gladys or Patti?
I am a die-hard Gladys Knight fan.
Okay. Yes. I'm not mad at it. I love Gladys too.
Gladys to me is more soulful. I actually won. I performed Gladys as a character, and I've won like several pageants in the illusion of Gladys Knight for my talent numbers.
I know that's right.
So Patti LaBelle do a lot of hollering to me, like just always, that's just.
She do, but I love it every damn time.
My fiance is a Patti fan, and I'm a Gladys fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the bases covered.
Exactly. We just need Dionne to be popping through real quick for the cookout. So
you know what? I love Dionne Warwick, and I did not know she was the Dionne. Like, she's one of those people to me, like I was talking about Victoria, like she hasn't like really remained relevant. And so like it just, oh hey
forget
Dionne,
about her a
oh
little
hey,
bit.
that's Dionne. Like it was never like,
Yeah.
hey Dionne, oh that's Dionne, until they
That's
did like
Dionne,
that
yeah.
special on her or whatever, that documentary, and you were like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
It's like she was that
Dionne.
bitch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a long time I didn't realize that,
Yeah.
she was I used to just always, oh, she Whitney Houston cousin or aunt or something. That's how I
Right.
always,
Yeah.
I never really paid her no attention. Of course,
Yeah,
that's
no
what friends
Dionne.
are for, and whatever.
Right.
But other than that, I've never
But yeah, no.
thought she was like the Dionne Warwick until they did that documentary thing on her.
Yeah, no, Dionne was that bitch.
Yes.
And then finally, Beyonce or Janet? Oh, no, not a chuckle. Don't do it.
I feel like I'm about to get beat up and hung up on.
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong
this is
answer.
for you.
So I think that.
Oh
The Beehive said no ma'am.
Hold up. Shut up.
That was
that's
not planned.
hilarious.
That was not planned, community.
That was not planned.
At all.
Oh my god. The Beehive said not on Beyonce's
gotta go.
internet, you're not.
Look, not doing Cowboy Carter.
Where
Look,
Blue Ivy at? Blue Ivy got spies out here. Blue Ivy said, Ruby, go get her. Go get her.
I hope her internet didn't go out.
yo, that's crazy. Literally right at the moment. I think, bloop, snatch.
Nope.
That was
Snatch.
literally the rapture. She's just like, bloop.
Baby, couldn't plan
Take it
that
up to
any
glory.
better. If we wrote it.
Look.
Community, we don't know the answer. We don't know the answer.
We're going to need to have Alvion back.
Oh,
I know.
God. I wanted to
so
give
Drew,
her
maybe text her to see if
flowers.
she all right, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, it said nope. It went out. No, yeah.
Well, on that note,
on that Cowboy Carter tip. And we also know today's the Met Gala, so if you're watching the Met Gala, I'm gonna miss a lot of it because I'll be at Kendrick Lamar and SZA that night on Cinco de Mayo. But I'm gonna try to be capturing some of it on my phone just to see the looks. Cause I'm probably gonna just tape it actually, or I don't know. Actually, a lot of it be online now. It'll be on like Yahoo.com and all that random stuff.
but
But anyway, I can't wait to see the outfits for the dandyism and see the ones that appropriate and the one that appreciate.
I'm gonna be looking at everybody white to see what the fuck is going on, because ain't no way.
Be like, what in the Katy Perry is this?
Like, what
have y'all seen?
is going on?
Like, because the poor Katy Perry, by the way, not even poor Katy Perry, but it's funny because she's on tour now, and she had a whole week head start on Beyonce to be talked about in a good way, and it ain't talked about in a good way.
No.
Them clips, they are killing Katy Perry right now.
And low key, like, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, she don't deserve, in my opinion, that
she don't deserve all the smoke.
Kind of energy. Like, okay, it's a little like corny and like, who is you to be da 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 or whatever? But like, who not you? If not you, then who? You know, so like
Taylor.
It ain't look.
I mean, it's more than what Taylor gives.
It's true. Yeah.
You know, now, does it make any sense? Hell no. Am I going to be there? Hell yeah.
No. Oh, you going to Katy Perry tour?
Baby, I'm going to Katy Perry. Let me tell you.
Oh, really?
I
don't mind Katy Perry.
Girl, it was
like
like $20.
songs.
It was like $20 for a ticket.
Oh, I might do that then too.
Yeah, exactly. So now you see why I said I was like $20. I said I'm gonna get me a good old edible, and we about to go. Look, she gonna be like, "Oh my god, fireworks!" Look, we already gotta go. Already got a game plan.
The only way I'm gonna go is if she gonna bring out Missy Elliott like she did at the Super Bowl.
Right, she got to bring out somebody else to keep it entertaining.
Yeah,
look.
I ain't going.
Low-key, actually, I actually low-key like some Katy Perry songs. I'm not going for it.
I did
like
too.
that.
Yeah,
I like that gorgeous song from this last album. That should have been a bop. I don't know why she didn't put that one out.
Yeah.
with Kim Petras.
With Kim Petras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they said they first. That album wasn't that good. It was just a wrong choice of singles. I think if she started with Gorgeous, it would have made the album bigger than it was. It kind of came and left.
Yeah.
But oh well. Well, I guess
That's it.
We'll have to find out the answer another time.
To be continued.
Hey, right.
Dun dun dun.
Tune in September 1st for our after Cookouts show to get the answer to this question.
It's like it's the cliffhanger of the summer. Be back in the fall for the next season.
Right.
Oh Lord. Well, I guess anything else on your hearts and minds.
Look, before we go, I just want to say words don't have enough weight to express the amount of flowers and appreciation that we have for, queens like Alvion, artists, local legends, icons who are, who are doing the craft, who are doing the gatekeeping, who are making sure that, that we are that the experience is fully represented. And even if she showed up tonight, she showed up face like ready to work. And it is so refreshing to see that level of just professionalism and talent. And I just want to give her all the flowers because she deserves them while she's here. And it's great that she had, such an amazing run, capping off her Miss Continental Plus win. But it doesn't stop here. And we're so grateful that she was able to join us today.
Yeah, I agree. And go follow her. It's ALVI_DAV. So ALV as in Victor, I_DAV as in Victor. Go run her page up with some comments and all that stuff. Show her some love over there.
Give her some virtual flowers.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, I enjoyed this episode. So
baby,
the community did, and if you didn't know, well, we did.
Look, I knew from the very first. And by the way, a little behind the scenes for the community. For some reason, she couldn't see me for the whole episode.
This whole episode.
The whole episode. So I tried not to jump in as much as I could, but I did. But I knew from the very first moment that she got on that we were in a treat for some old school, down and dirty, reading your ass to filth, and you will think it's sugar drag queen talk.
I know
it gave me everything that I wanted and more. I probably won't be able to get to sleep tonight.
Look, and it's so crazy too.
I can't wait for these clips.
Look, because let me tell you, Auntie was letting the girls have it. Even I was like, I'm not in drag, but I'm over here just like.
It's like, well, damn. Maybe I don't want nobody to beat my face. Never mind. I'm stay out of drag.
Let me not turn the wig around, okay? Turn the wig. No. Don't turn the wig around. Leave the wig right where it is.
Take the wig off.
Okay.
She said, with your $100 drag, it took me out.
Oh, damn.
Took me. Okay. Like, I know sometimes I get a little harsh, but I'm nothing compared to real queens who be throwing shade, and we got a masterclass in that tonight.
But the message out of it too is just like mentorship. Like you need mentorship in all aspects of life, and that's what she was really getting at. So I hope people don't just like shoot.
And the work,
exactly.
like this whole internet cut corners, quick gimmicks, quick fixes, like that's not sustainable.
No,
not sustainable.
No.
And I love the fact
years at least.
I love the fact that I know that gatekeepers can be viewed in many different ways. Some people need to be told no.
Baby, that's a word. And that's what we don't have enough of now, because we got told no growing up. Right. and it made us better.
Better.
It wasn't the sake, well, maybe sometimes it's the sake of no for no. But for the most part, there was a reason and a lesson behind that no that be like, oh, now I get it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we still need in all aspects of life, especially in these arts. Yeah. And So she was everything. Yes. And I know community, you're probably like, y'all just got a lot of drag queens on here. Like, we're protecting that art and that community in all the
Mhm.
spectrum of it, and so giving light on that. So you might have
Absolutely.
a few more, but it's just like that's what the podcast is for: is giving light for our community, because they are starting to try to take all this shit away. They're trying to so hard. So as long as we got a voice and a platform,
We
we're
don't
gonna
use
help
it, damn
everybody
it.
out here.
How we want to use it.
Absolutely.
And how y'all too? You know,
Look.
y'all give us some suggestions, but for
It's
now,
a learning
we have to
lesson,
do
though.
some more
It's a
on here.
learning lesson. That's the thing I love about it. It's a lesson. Everyone can learn
Yeah.
something. Everybody can learn something. It don't got to be your ministry to understand what
Right.
someone else's ministry is. That's how we make space for each other. You can't talk about making space at the table for everyone, but not understanding what that person needs at the table to sit next
Yeah.
to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, y'all preaching today. Deacon Hawkins and Deacon Tate over here. Okay. Deacon Ness. And on that note, community, wash your hands and your legs and your ass. Get your tambourine, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
I'm about to tell him. So what was it the other day, Jarrell, that I didn't know? That I had to Google?
I put in a text message, ISTG, and he was like, "What is ISTG?" And I'm like, "I swear to
had no
God,
clue.
you didn't know what."
Instagram? What does that mean?
Right, thank you. See, I had no idea either. I was like, what does that mean?
What?
Baby, and you younger than me.
It means I swear to God.
Yes.
And see, I was like, I must not be swearing to God then. Because I know.
No idea.
I know.
No idea.
Hey, community. A lot of you have asked how you can support Minority Report outside of the sharing and downloading and subscribing and leaving reviews. But you can also buy merch. Come on, baby.
I know that's right. And we have a whole lot of options, from clothing to pillows to tumblers and bags. And we continue to update all of our stuff with new styles, new colors, and new products. Jarrell, where can they get all that stuff at?
Well, they can get all that and then some at minorityReport.com. They can find all the goodies, find out additional information about your aunties. And we also want to make sure that you share and tag us when you do buy merch, all right? So let us know if it's a hoodie, it's a tee, a long shirt, a towel, because we know you need those. But let us know.
Absolutely. And remember to wash your hands, your legs, and your ass.